Today, we are excited to welcome Bill Garvey, President and CEO of the Greater Cleveland Film Commission. Originally from New York City, Bill has been in the film industry for over 26 years. Before stepping into the role of President and CEO in 2021, he worked on the other side of the equation as a location manager, finding places for filmmakers to shoot their movies and then working on the logistics to make it happen. Bill and his wife moved from New York City to Cleveland to be close to family in 2008, and he quickly realized he didn't have to be in Hollywood or New York to continue doing what he loved. Not long after his arrival, a producer hired him to scout locations for a super secret project, which turned out to be The Avengers, filmed here in Cleveland. And from there, he has continued to work to bring productions to Cleveland and has done well to elevate Cleveland to the film community. In October of 2021, he competed against all theatrical motion picture releases worldwide to win the Location Managers Guild International Award for Best Period Location Management, the motion picture industry's highest honor for location scouting and management, for his work on the Academy Award-winning Judas and the Black Messiah. He is a member of Leadership Cleveland Class of 2023, was named to Crane's Cleveland Power 150 in 2023, and Cleveland Magazine Cleveland 500 in 2024. Please welcome Bill.
Thank you, Rachel. Wow, I don't know what to say. It makes me sound like somebody else. I'm just a journeyman film professional, and I'm really thrilled that I've made my home here in Cleveland for the last 16 years because there's a lot to like and a lot to champion here, and I applaud what Leadership Cleveland has done over the decades to support communication, collaboration, both economically and socially here in the greater Cleveland area. So thank you for all your support and what we do and what all the leaders in the community do. And thank you folks for joining us and taking the time to learn about the industry and kind of move our community forward. And this is a complementary industry to a lot of what we do in Northeast Ohio. This is an industry that has grown more than double in the last decade. So it's $243 billion of production spending worldwide every year. And our job at the Film Commission is going out and trying to pitch Northeast Ohio as a destination to bring that spending, that job creation, as much of it as we can. So I'll dive into our presentation and kind of go through how that works. All right, so what's in common with all these movies that you see on your screen right now? Every single one of them shot in Northeast Ohio. So we have a thriving business, a business where local Clevelanders make their entire career only working in Ohio in this business. And it's a growing business more than ever. This year, we have doubled our tax credit program for the state of Ohio that brings this business here. That gives us a huge tool in the Film Commission's toolbox that we go out and pitch business with. What does that mean for Northeast Ohio? What is our mission at the Film Commission? Well, it's threefold. So we go out and we are an economic development not-for-profit. We're not a government agency. We don't get any of the money that comes from this business, the spending that comes from this business. We don't get a commission. We actually get some government support, but most of it we raise on our own to do the work that we do. We are an economic development organization trying to grow the economy here and create jobs here through the motion picture industry. So that's the mission. How do we accomplish that? Threefold. So we go out and we pitch business. So we go out and leverage relationships with studios and producers to look at any one of the 4,000 projects that are in development at any one time and try to get as many of those projects to Northeast Ohio. So that's one. The second part of that is the government tax credit program that drives that business here. So the state of Ohio competes against 37 other states and 106 countries around the world that have tax incentive programs for this business. It's not driven necessarily by storyline or architecture or anything else. It's a tax incentive driven industry. And right now we have increased our tax incentive program by almost double this year. So again, it's more jobs coming, more spending coming because of the work that we've done to advocate for this program. We work very closely with state legislatures, the legislator to develop a program that's attractive to business and business friendly, both in the amount of tax credit that goes into this program, but also in user friendliness. So we want to make it as efficient and attractive for that business to come as possible. And we compete against, countries and states that you wouldn't think we have anything in common with. And that proves that that's how much the tax incentive drives this business. And then the third thing is the business isn't going to come unless there's a workforce to take these jobs. There's hundreds of jobs behind that camera. And that's the important part of this, right? We want jobs for the community. We want Cleveland and the surrounding area to be taking advantage of these jobs, the hundreds of jobs that are created on each of these projects. And so we've partnered with a lot of local institutions, and it also have developed their own workforce training programs to teach the skills that are necessary to take these jobs. And it's not a master's degree type business. This is an old school manufacturing type business. It's like apprenticeships. And with a minimum amount of training, you can get a lucrative job that pays you 6 figures and has a pension and has health insurance. So that's a big deal, and especially since you can consider that most of these jobs start at a minimum starting salary of $36.91 an hour, plus $175 a day in pension and healthcare. That's basically translates to almost double the median salary for the state of Ohio. So it's a good industry, it's a thriving industry, and it's growing. This year, we were successful in driving $208.57 million worth of business to Choose Northeast Ohio. And obviously, everybody has seen a high-profile superhero movie come, but it's not just one movie. This is a thriving business, and it's multiple projects coming all the time. Not all these projects get that kind of press. So today, we want to talk about the whole industry and also the ecosystem locally, because there's a thriving local production industry as well. And that means jobs for local Clevelanders. So, again, I come from this business myself. Before I was at the Film Commission, I spent 26 years in this industry, and the last 13 of those years only working in the state of Ohio, full-time job. And it is a freelance business, but it can translate into a full-time job because you're taking job after job after job. And this ecosystem, along with local production, is thriving. So let's go granular. What does that mean per project? So there's a movie called White Noise, which filmed here in 2021. And not many people know that this filmed here, but it is a Netflix movie. It is the biggest spending production of all time in the state of Ohio. And why don't more people know about it? Well, it didn't shut down a street in downtown Cleveland, for one. It flew under the radar, but it also wasn't a superhero movie. So it didn't get a lot of press, but nevertheless, the economic impact is great. So along with the prep and filming and restoration, that's a year's worth of jobs for a lot of local Clevelanders, a lot of spending, $106.6 million in local spending alone on one project. And unlike other industries, this industry goes out into the community and spends in a diverse way. So we're not anchored to a factory in the movie business. This one project spent, you draw a circle an hour and a half around Cleveland, and it's spent in every part of that circle. So you go into a place called, for example, Salem, Ohio, about an hour and 20 minutes southeast of Cleveland. Spent 2 weeks there, bringing a crew of 350 people and 300 background to a community for 2 weeks and spent in that community. It can make a really big economic impact in a short runway. So once the tax incentive is given to a production, they come to the state. They're spending in a very short window of time and making a millions of dollars of impact in communities like that. And also, along with the local crew working on these movies, they're also bringing in folks. So one movie alone, because of the length of time that a movie takes to film and prep, 36,000 hotel room nights for one movie alone, and that's just part of the crew staying there. So we equate very favorably to local business conventions, All-Star Game. If you look at the film business compared to the NBA All-Star Game, for example, the NBA All-Star Game spent 47,000 hotel room nights. This one movie by itself, and the movie business here is more than one movie, it spent 36,000. So the impact is great. And then the aforementioned Superman. So this year alone, we've had 4 productions already in the first half of the year. So Superman, had 1,100 crew members working on it right here in Cleveland, 4,500 background, spending $36.97 million, all in a short span of time. And then also had a lot of hotel room nights. So spent on hotel room nights, $2.1 million just by that, by itself. So again, the spending is great and it continues. And we've had 19 projects approved for tax credit this year. So more spending to come. That's only the first part of the year. During that first part, we had a total of just over $80 million spent in job creation and with local vendors. And nevertheless, local vendors get to participate in a huge way as well. The spending goes and pervades into the industry. And these aren't film-specific vendors. These are local vendors, mom and pop, small businesses, locksmiths and dry cleaners and electricians, all sorts of small businesses that are able to take advantage of this. And so part of the mission at the Film Commission is to get the word out that there's an opportunity here, that these productions are looking to hire local in small businesses as well. So we talked about leveraging relationships with studios and producers. How do we do that? So I mentioned that there's 4,000 productions in development at any one time. And how do we go out and pitch that business to come and choose Northeast Ohio? Well, we break down the script. So we leverage our relationships. We kind of do some research, break down the script. So this is a big pitch that we did for Juice and Black Messiah, which filmed here in 2019 and won 2 Academy Awards, was nominated for 6. We go out, we leverage our relationship with Warner Brothers. We do a script breakdown. We go out and research. And this was obviously based on a true story. So there was actual images of the locations in the story. And we went out and found that location in Northeast Ohio. So if you look where it says lookbook image on your screen, that's the actual Black Panther headquarters. So the Black Panthers were founded in Chicago in 1968. And this movie took place in 1970. And we found a real world location in Cleveland that matched it pretty closely. And that location, frankly, was the hub around which this movie was built. And so Rachel mentioned that this won the LMGI award. That's a big deal in the movie business. That's the equivalent of an Academy Award for locations. So that year alone, Cleveland competed against all the locations worldwide for all the period movies worldwide and was chosen as best location. So basically, Cleveland was the best location to make a movie in 2021 when this movie came out. So the Film Commission, we function as a resource hub. So basically, we want to be a marketplace through which all filmmaking takes place, resources for local filmmakers, like grants and funding. We don't fund movies ourselves, but we do provide sources for funding from other organizations that do that work. We also are a source for crew, for vendors, for filming locations, education, events, and news, both nationally and locally. So again, resource hub, we want to be an efficient source, a go-to source for all filmmakers and also producers. When we go out there and provide great customer service, that leads to repeat business. And we have continuous repeat business, and that's why we've grown our industry here. And when we talk about how we go out and the spending is diffused throughout the community, this is a heat map of that kind of spending. So it's anchored in Cleveland. That's where our crew base is, but the filmmaking happens all over the place. There are multiple filmmaking locations in each story. And because of that, that spending goes out into the community. So it really has an impact in a wide swath of region that other industries aren't able to take advantage of. And on top of that, I talked about complementary industries. So we have a lot of underused manufacturing, underused real estate. The film business goes into that underused real estate and takes advantage of that and is able to work with local real estate developers to occupy that kind of real estate and spend in places that have been vacant, abandoned, underused. But there is a missed opportunity. So we are capped at 75 million. That means that we allocate tax incentive resources towards approximately 3.33. If you multiply the 75 million, 3.33 will get you the overall spend statewide. But we still get more applicants than we have takers. So In the last 3 years, we've turned away $389.7 million worth of applicants that have applied to shoot in the state of Ohio. That means jobs and spending here. And the spending happens before the tax credit gets handed back to them. So that spending did not come here because there was not enough tax incentive to allocate to that. So if you compare us to our competition, and there's a lot, we are kind of middle of the pack. And so, we always advocate to increase our program that increases this business in an industry that is growing substantially over the last decade. So the biggest leader in this industry right now, it isn't California, it isn't Hollywood anymore, it's Georgia. Georgia is the go-to spot for all filmmaking around the world. Everybody's chasing Georgia. They had $4.4 billion in direct spend last year because of their tax incentive program. So that's how important this policy is. And that's grown to 92,000 people living and working in the state of Georgia in the motion picture industry. So that is the example that we're chasing, and we look to increase our cap. There is legislation that we're promoting in the Senate at the moment, SB 283, that would do that. It would increase us to 100 million and streamline the application process so that we are capturing all the business that we get application-wise. And to go into a couple examples, New Mexico is one of the leaders in this industry. They have attracted companies like Netflix to build there and plant their flag in New Mexico and create continuous jobs to the tune of 200 million. This is just Netflix now, 200 million, and hired over 1,600 people and engaged in 2,000 local vendors. Georgia, again, 4.4 billion in direct spend has translated to 2.5 million square feet of soundstage space. So all those superhero movies that you're watching out there, they're planted in Georgia. Economic impact. We've been pretty good. We've done a good job with what we've had to the tune of $1.38 billion of economic impact in the last 15 years. 7,000 jobs been created. And I was one of those jobs. So there's a lot of folks locally that are taking advantage of this work. And with the growth in the tax incentive, we're almost doubled as of this year. We need more people coming into this business, and that's part of the reason that we do speaking engagements to get that word out. Georgia, they've grown substantially year over year, every year. And that's why they're the leader in this. So that's what we're chasing. So the way our tax incentive works is it's a 30% rebate. And that means anybody that applies, any project that applies, they'll get approved, and then they have to come spend the money, go through an audit, prove that they've spent the money. And this is money that's only spent in the state of Ohio. Anything that's spent outside of the state does not count towards tax credit. So all the spending with vendors and all the jobs that are created have to be jobs in Ohio. We have a application process and a window. Part of SB 283 would be restoring the rolling application process that was in place since until 2020, which did yield more applicants. So our window policy is hurting us. We are turning away projects because of that application window. And that doesn't cost the state any more money to do that. We can have a rolling plot process again, which would be more business friendly and attract more applicants. Georgia is also a 30% credit, but they are unlimited, they are uncapped, so they do get as much business, and producers go back to where they're comfortable and used to going back. So Georgia has grown year over year substantially, and that's why they're getting $4.4 billion in direct spend every year. So what are we doing to increase our crew base? Because that's part of this equation. Producers want to come and hire local, or else they're not going to come. So we've built out a ton of programming towards this goal. And we partnered with a lot of educational institutions, both at the high school level and college level locally, to build out programs, teach skills that will get you jobs in the movie business locally. And the idea is, hey, we don't want people trained up and leaving the state, because we've had that way too long. So brain drain, we want to stop that. And this is one of those industries that is going to do that. It is a sexy industry. Well, what we've done is created all this programming And there's lots of workshops that we offer. Please go to our website, and I'll have a page at the end of this presentation where you can directly link to our website to check all this stuff out. But our programming is designed so that the community is taking advantage of this career right here locally. We want our community to reflect the population of Cleveland, our film community. So we built this out, and going into the details, we partnered with CMSD schools. We teach a film skills class there every semester. It's a semester-long class designed to go soup to nuts. So we teach everything from screenwriting, storyboarding, visual effects, special effects, the whole gamut, production, post-production, and the idea is to get kids connected to local industry professionals, and these are department heads that hire. So we want to create relationships so that there is a pathway coming out of school into jobs. And on top of that, we want the kids to learn how it's done professionally in the real world on these big shows. So we are fortunate that there's a lot of industry professionals that have partnered with us that also want and see the goal that we see to hire local and have a pathway for kids to come into this industry. And this is a semester-long program, and we focus on arts kids that want to do art for a living, so that we can create an arts-based job that has a pension and healthcare and good benefits and a high salary. So over the last 6 semesters, we've gone through a lot of different CMSD schools, and we do speaking engagements there as well, so that we're getting the message out that this is a real opportunity, and also a pathway, in a lot of different directions. So you can either go through an associate's degree, a college 4-year degree, or a certificate degree right out of high school. We also want to engage with the community. So we started a documentary series that we do annually, and Lowell, who's on our Zoom today, shepherded our last one. Reverse Fire Long was our documentary, and this also incorporates a documentary workshop to teach fundamental skills of documentary storytelling. So that's always a part of what we do, the education piece, but also to engage in the community and move the conversation forward. And then we also offer after high school training as well. And here's where we partner with various schools, various colleges to do this. So not just college education, but also after college career change education. And this workshop is designed to teach you all the business knowledge to get a crew job on these productions. And again, we're fortunate that there's a lot of industry professionals that we've been able to partner with to teach these skills. And, this is a business, it's an art form, but it's also a business. And there are hundreds of these jobs, but the base level knowledge that goes into every single one of them is the business paperwork knowledge that we teach in this course. And we were fortunate that 194 students went through our program this year. And we were part of the original pilot program with Universal Pictures a few years ago, when paid internship programs became the norm in the motion picture industry. So we were a pilot program, and when we went out to the Film Commission convention a couple of years ago, we were highlighted by Universal Pictures as a model for other film commissions to design their production assistant training programs as a way to successfully partner with production companies. So that continues. We continue to grow these opportunities, and we've made them free. But again, we're a not-for-profit, so we have to raise the funds that goes into all this training, because obviously it doesn't come to us for free. We have to pay for it, but we have made it free to the community. And then vendors is a big part of this. So the spending is, this is where the impact really takes hold in Cleveland and the surrounding area. There are so many vendors, hundreds of them, that work on all these productions. And not enough vendors know that this is an opportunity that they can take advantage of here. So this is where our website, functioning as a marketplace, as a central hub through which studios and producers get their resources, that's where that can be an advantage to vendors locally. So we want to get the word out to local vendors, small businesses, that there's an opportunity here in this growing business that you can take advantage of. And we also run workshops on how to get into this business as a non-film specific vendor. And with that, Here's my screen with QR codes, or you can just go to clevelandfilm.com, check out our resources. Again, there's a whole bunch of not only education resources, job resources. There's also grants and funding for local filmmakers. We try to be holistic in our approach to help the local film community, as well as work with big studio partners, because this industry will only succeed if we're all working together to build the talent from within, and also attract the studio projects that spend the money and create the jobs. And with that, I'll take Q&A.
Bill, thank you so much. I think so many of us just see the forward facing when a film is here and we see it being produced, but the scope of the work that you do reaches so many different avenues and parts of the community. As you think about the work that you've been a part of over the past few years, what are you most proud of that the Film Commission has accomplished?
I think the workforce piece of this is, and we worked so hard and continue to grow and develop it and make it better every time. Uh, and it's it's a team process. There's only 6 of us at the Film Commission, and we're all working towards that goal, and we worked really hard at it. And just getting the word out and going into the community where the community is, to do presentations and info sessions and training sessions, and again, try to do it for free, so that the communities take advantage of this opportunity. So that's what we're really proud of. This was our best year at pitching and winning business, but there's more work to be done. We can't be complacent, because this is an ever-changing industry, and obviously technology advancement will change it even from now. And so we have to stay on the ball and be up to date with what the trends are in this industry, so that we can serve the community that we represent the best.
So let's talk forward facing. So as you look ahead for the next few years, what is your vision for the Film Commission? What's on the horizon?
Well, first of all, is growing this tax incentive policy that drives business and jobs here. We want to make the program as efficient and as user-friendly as possible. Right now, it's a 15-week application process. We want to streamline that and make that more efficient. That's our #1 goal in SB 283. We want to grow the industry. We want to grow the jobs. So we want infrastructure. We want it all. We want to be Georgia. We want to be the leader in this industry, and we can be. And the architecture outside my window, every filmmaker we ever show around here, they're stunned. Our motto is like, and this is from a filmmaker, right? So a filmmaker comes here, and almost every time, they're like, "Huh, Cleveland, who knew?" And that's true. Out from the outside looking in, there's not much, really reputation or knowledge outside of our city, and we have a lot of great stuff going on here. So that's why, we're the biggest cheerleaders for this region as a place to spotlight and tell great stories. And by doing that, creating opportunity for local community and jobs.
For those of us on the call, how can we best support you and your team in your work?
Well, turn up. So we're gonna have a networking mixer. This is where we get veteran industry professionals there with aspiring filmmakers and actors, and we want to build the community. So we have to do that together. That means all of us working towards that goal. As far as supporting us, obviously we're a not-for-profit, so we always have to raise funds to do this work. So we're always looking for sponsorship for community workshops, for resources, so that there's crew, with the skills that can take these jobs. That's really an essential part of this equation.
Well, Bill, we thank you for joining us today and sharing such the scope of work that the Film Commission does for our community, and for all the work that you and your team do to bring such an amazing amount of economic impact to Greater Cleveland.
Thank you so much.